Hello, let me tell you something awesome if you want to start a podcast and you don't have the funds to do so. And if you haven't heard of Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And it has everything you need in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Easy to use. If I can use it, anybody can use it. Also, when hosting on Anchor, you get to distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more, and which is something you don't have to do nothing. Anchor does everything for you. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, Anchor is totally free. Check it out right now. Start a podcast. I cannot wait to hear you speak.
Hello, welcome to Truck Stop Murder True Crime Podcast. I am your host, Gary Howard. Now, this will be my regular episode with the Truck Stop. And if you're a new listener, if you're a return listener, thank you for coming back and checking me out. And if you're a new listener, this, unlike my execution episodes where I try to put out on Mondays, where I go from the executions from 76 on, this is actually the OG, the Truck Stop Murder Podcast episodes, where I'll talk about a truck stop. Yeah, I stopped that, or may have not stopped that. I'm not for sure about the one today, but I talk about the truck stops, the amenities of it, and what's there, what's to eat, what people think about, and everything about that truck, and then a murder slash crime that happened nearby it. So if this is something you like, thank you for checking me out. Also, thank you for Honduras. Your people down there are amazing, been keeping me on the iTunes True Crime podcasts, which I am so grateful for. That country likes me, and now only if I get in the U.S. But that's all up to me. I gotta get more busy. But the truck stop I'm talking to about right now is Rhodey's Fremont. It's in Wisconsin. I know if you listened to my last episode, I talked about I was going to put one out on Wisconsin. So the address it's in Fremont, Wisconsin. Address is this weird address: E7487 South 110th, E7487 West, Wisconsin 110 in Fremont, Wisconsin. Zip code 54940. So 32 reviews. It has a 4.9 rating. It says it's on Highway 10 and Wisconsin 96 East. Now it says it has 10 spots, but it looks like it actually has more than 10 spots. It has plenty of spots. Now I counted it. I think it has about 20 spots. So, and then you make your own. But people like this place. That's 32 reviews. There's a 4.9 review rating. I try to find anything negative about this place, but obviously I could not find nothing. People like this 10 place Wi-Fi ATM. There's no showers or nothing like that, so it's kind of like a gas station, but with trucks being able to park there. And diesel is 3.97 as of 2 hours ago. Now this truck stop's in Wisconsin. I'm currently in Dallas right now, which let me tell you what I saw today. This is exciting. Not exciting, but once you think you saw it all, this one girl, I just got out of the restroom. I'm at the Pilot right now in Dallas, Texas. And this one female was in the, well, I was walking out in the male's restroom, and female almost ran me over. And I guess she had to go pretty bad because she already had her pants down past her ass hanging out, running into the restroom. So I guess she really wanted to be prepared, and there was nothing in her way when she sat down and commenced her business. But that's here in Dallas. Well, the story is from Fremont, Wisconsin. So yeah, people like this place. I want to tell you that story real quick. And if you just happen to be driving by there and figure out what you want to eat, of course, you have the North Trail Convenience Store, which is nearby. All these are within a quarter mile from the place. And then you have Angler's Bar and Grill. There's a couple bars and grills by here, so that's cool. Angler's Bar and Grill, which is like a hamburger place, beer and whatever that. And then Bridge Bar and Restaurant. And then Hotel Fremont. They got that down. There's a lounge in there, I believe. Now, I don't think I've been here. I drove by here, but I'm not familiar for sure if I stayed here or not. I don't think I did. But this is a truck stop that was nearby. This what my case I'm about to cover and I was excited to cover it because I don't see anybody else. I think a couple people has done it, not many. So it's pretty well unknown case. So be prepared, you be ready for that. And also, here's the reviews. What does people think about this place? Like I said, people like it. And one that says 5 stars says great little place, quiet with a paved lot, good food selection. When Subway and the hot deli are closed, store is 24 hours. So there's a Subway there. All this information I'm giving you is from Trucker's Path. If you want to, you're a truck driver or you're just driving a car, you want to know anything about truck stops that you're traveling, just download Trucker's Path and give you all the information you need. Okay, another one, 4-star reviews. Haven't been inside the parking lot. Is nice, clean. Seems to be a pretty busy little store. Well, I'm not going to, a lot of them are just talking about how wonderful this place is. 5-star, excellent place to park and do a 10. There are 17 parking spaces, no showers though. Convenience store is 24 hours. There's a Subway and other hot convenience store options like wings, chicken sandwiches, etc. So yeah, they have a selection of cheese as always. They sell beer. Of course, in Wisconsin, they do like their cheese and beer, of course. But drivers shouldn't be drinking anyway since it's illegal to have any alcohol in your system within 12 hours of going on duty. I say fuck you. Mr. Wright, he's probably fucking why he probably bought some beer. And well, wait a second, I'm a good guy. I'm the perfect driver. I don't drive beer. I do the right thing, whatever. But yeah, the only ones I seen on here that has no stars, all of them are like four. There's no showers. It's a very nice place. That's a three star 3-star rating. Very nice place with plenty of parking for about 25 trucks and good food and deli. The only ones I've seen that has no stars is more than 10 spots, and like I said, most spots taken by utility trucks and drop trailers. And one that says diesel is 3.31.9 a gallon. So, but yeah, that's about all I could see. People like it. There's a bar and grill. They sell beer, and of course, being Wisconsin, they do sell their cheese. And while you're there, why would you be there? Well, what else would you be there to do is to check out the Union Star Cheese Factory, do a tour of that, check out, make the cheese curd, sharp cheddar, and all that stuff. But other than that, about the only thing you could do is go to the bar and get drunk, as Wisconsiners do, or watch the dreaded Green Bay Packers. Ugh. Wisconsin would not be a bad place if it wasn't for the Packers. Yes, I'm a Bears fan, and they suck this year. But without further ado, while we're in Cheeseland, let's talk about our murder. We're talking about the murder of Glenn. Well, let's not talk about that first. Let's talk about the person. Glenn Kopitske is our man we're going to be talking about. Glenn Kopitske was adopted by, let's talk a little history about him. He was adopted by Shirley and Virgil. Well, he was born actually in Chicago. He was born July 21st, 1966 in Chicago, Illinois. So that's where I grew up too. But yeah, so he was adopted by them. They couple had already lost 4 children. After college, after he attended the University of Texas in Dallas. So he came down here where I'm at right now, so a little connection. Where he tried his hands at stand-up comedy. He returned to live near his parents in Winnebago County, Wisconsin, but diagnosed with bipolar disorder as a teenager. Kopitske needed to be close to his parents but required some independence as well. In 1996, he received a monthly federal check due to his physical disabilities and supported himself by working at Walmart, also a substitute teacher in New London. And what does he do with his time? Well, he took $500 and declared himself a candidate for the White House. Well, young man, it's going to take more than 500, maybe 500 million. I don't know exactly. I know it costs a lot of money to run for office, the White House. Of course, that didn't work. So he decided to run for council, city council, and he did run successfully, but he lost. But yeah, by the way, president, he was 5 years too young to qualify as a presidential candidate anyhow. So even if he had all the money, he would not be able to. And he even invited citizens during the presidential thing he wanted to do. He invited everybody for a meet and greet luncheon and everything. So He was really want to do this. He also did community theater, appearing in a local theater production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoats. And he was, he was pretty. I mean, he was quiet. He was pretty liked by everybody, his neighbors and everything like that. So, what happened to Glenn? So, Glenn Kopitske had been for 2 days. Nobody's heard of him. August 2nd, and nobody was able to reach him by phone. So his mom went and checked to see on him, see what was that didn't make no sense. Some checks they could nobody could get hold of him on by phone or anything like that. Have not seen him in a few days. So she went and found to his house, which his house is kind of like a dead end street where the only thing people go there is him or maybe see some animals, dogs, deer, whatnot. Where she discovered his new body. Kabisky's back door was locked, which his mother said was unusual for him. Shirley Kopinski also noticed that her son's car keys were gone, which he always kept on the kitchen table, were missing. The summer heat had affected Kopinski's body so badly that authorities initially thought he had died of natural causes. Only on Tuesday, August 5th, when a pathologist turned Kopinski's body over and noticed liquefied brain matter leaking from a wound in the back of his head, did authorities realize that Kopinski had been shot to death and that the marks of his chest and back were actually post-mortem stab wounds. So they realized that instead of he had got shot in the back of the head with a shotgun and also been stabbed a few times. The physical search of the murder scene turned out no further evidence. During a canvass in the neighborhood, a neighbor claimed that a few nights earlier he had seen a older car with square headlights and a rectangular taillight driving through the area, flashing a bright light at the three residents at the dead end street. It would be several months before investigators knew who killed Kabisky and why. So let's talk about our person of interest. We're talking about Gary Hurt, a very quiet, 6'4", 270-pound young man. He was 18. I heard everywhere from 17 to 18 and 19 in different places. But yeah, Gary Hurt was born 1986, became the first Eagle Scout that, and I'm going to butcher this name. It's not the name, but the city, Awaga in Wisconsin, had produced in 20 years. So Hurt worked at the Dairy Queen during his senior year. He won a scholarship to St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, where he had planned on studying criminal justice. Also, he was a big star in the football team, where he led his team to many championships and was often called the Big Hurt. And plus, he was really quiet. He really, kind of kept to himself. Even though he was a big football star like that, he was very modest about how he carried himself. But so, how is he connected to this? Well, 2 weeks after Kabisky's murder, Hurt called his friend Eric Winslow and asked him if he knew about Kabisky's murder. Over 2 weeks earlier, Winslow had been with Hurt cruising Winnebago County at night in Hurt's Dodge Dynasty, shining a 500,000 candle power spotlight around. Hurt called it shining for deer. I don't know if you know this game involved shining light at deers, thus paralyzing them, and took them right past Kopinski's house. So, and also it's extremely illegal in a lot of states. I don't know if it's illegal in all states, but I know everything I heard about it, you cannot do that. And the guy said, I did. Hurt told Winslow during that call. Winslow did not believe Hurt initially, so Hurt showed him. That's when he told him what he did that night. He goes, I did. So Winslow did not believe Hurt initially, so what he did was told him about the murder that he did. Right off the bat, he was telling everybody that he killed him. To everybody from school, everything, which don't make no sense when I later on tell you why he did what he did. So Winslow did not believe that he had Hurt initially, so Hurt showed him the 8-inch long hunting knife he said he used to stab Kabisky in the back and chest, and the keys that he said he had taken from the home. So in August 2003, Hurt met Olivia Toma at all these Indian names, Native Americans, Wapaka County Fair, where she was chosen fairest of fair over the courses of their relationship. This was his girlfriend. Hurt told her also how he had murdered Kabisky, Toma became convinced that Hurt was telling the truth, and in January 2004, I read some cases where she told local police because she was afraid that he might commit suicide because he felt bad. But the way he was bragging to everybody, I don't think he felt bad at all about what he did. But yeah, so she went in January 2004, told police about the suspicions, providing details about the murder that had not been reported to the media. So Hurt told Toma that he had driven his father's car, which matched the description given by Kabisky's neighbors, to Kabisky's home and shot him in the back of the head with a 12-gauge shotgun that stabbed him twice in the back and once in the heart. On January 28, 2004, Toma agreed to engage Hurt in a telephone conversation about the murder. While the police listened and recorded that was said during the telephone call, Hurt told Toma that he killed Kapinski to see if he could get away with it. But like I said, he was afterwards, 2 weeks afterwards, she was bragging to everybody that would listen to him, telling everybody. So I don't think you'll be able to get away with that, you know. And everybody knew about it, but nobody said anything until he told his girlfriend. So of course he was arrested, but it was funny how they arrested him. After his arrest, Hurt would confess to a whole different motive altogether. When I hear about this, the following day, police went to the school, included Wedslow, who told them about driving. The rest, this is, let me start over again. The following day, police interviewed Hurt's friend at school, including Winslow, W-E-N-Z, Wenzilo, who told them about driving past Kapinski's house with Hurt in July while they were shining for deer, and how Hurt told him about the murder and showed him the knife. So here's what I thought was funny. Hurt was called to the principal's office and arrested. Hurt admitted telling the friends that he had killed Kapinski, but claimed he had been making it up. He later, so he was, but again, they knew information that only the police knew. So later, he hired Gerald Boyle, who had previously listened to this. It did not work for this individual, so I guess he thought it might be different for him, because he first pled not guilty, that he was not there, that was just making up the story, giving information that only police knew. But so he thought, well, you know what, let's just hire Gerald Boyle, who had previously defended Jeffrey Dahmer as a defense attorney. You see how well it went for old Jeff? Not very good, and didn't go well for him. So the same day, police arrived at the Hertz home with a search warrant. In Hertz's room, they found Kapinski's keys above the door sill. They also found a 12-gauge shotgun in the basement, so it's not looking good for him. On August 30th, 2004, Hurd was charged with first-degree murder. He was held in Winnebago County Jail on $400,000 bond. He pled not guilty and later changed his plea to not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. If he were found not guilty by reason of that, Hurt would be able to petition for release every 6 months for release. Our lawyers exposed that DNA evidence suggested that the theory that Hurt killed Kabisky just to see if he could get away with it was not true. So, police alleged, based on part of Hurt's recording comments to Thelma, that on the night of Kabisky's murder, Hurt parked his car at the end of the dead-end road and retrieved the 12-gauge shotgun from the trunk of the car. Kabisky was asleep, but likely woke up and got out of the bed after Hurt entered the house. Upon seeing Hurt and his shotgun, Kabisky pleaded with Hurt, Hurt, H-I-R-T-E, Hurt, not to shoot him. Hurt then said to Kabisky to lie down on the floor. Forensics test shows that Hurt then pressed the muzzle of the shotgun to the back of Kabisky's head and then fired. Hurt said that he then stabbed Kabisky twice. The second time, the knife plunged so deep in Hurt that he had to use both hands to pull it out. Before leaving, Hurt spotted Kabisky's keys on the table and slipped them into his pocket. So here's what he changed the story to. And maybe this was it. I don't know if maybe he was, because of this whole scenario that I'm about to explain to you, why he came up, he wanted to get away with it. But this is what I'm looking towards too. But yeah, on January 31st, 2005, Hurt's attorney said that Hurt had homosexual urges when and testified when he was drunk. When he drank alcohol, got booze. So yeah, he was like a drunk homosexual. These urges, Boyle said, led to a sexual encounter between Hurt and Kopitske, after which Hurt's rage over the encounter led to him to return to Kopitsche's house and kill him. Boyle said that Hurt could not explain the murder for months until a forensic report suggested a possible sexual element to the crime. Maybe because he was naked. Maybe that was it after he sobered up a little bit. Hurt then broke down and told a story that he said happened between him. Let me repeat that again. And told the story of what he said happened between him and Kopitske. One of the torments he had, Boyle told the jury about Hurt, was that he didn't understand his own sexuality. Hurt said that hours before the murder, he had been sitting on top of his car underneath the bridge, drinking alcohol and listening to Nirvana. He finished 6 malt liquors and 15 shots of vodka. So yeah, he was pretty drunk. Well, I mean, then again, he was 6'4", 270. So he probably, if I drank that much, I'd be passed out. But yeah, 15 shots of vodka. When Kopitske drove up in his car, Hurt said Kopitske flirted with him, and the two agreed to return to Kopitske's house, where Hurt performed oral sex on him. According to Hurt, the encounter was consensual. No problem, no big deal. Hurt testified that afterwards he returned to the car and fell asleep. When he woke up, he was sobered and was enraged for having sex with another man. Hurt said he felt just grossed out beyond belief and disappointed at the proof of my imperfection that I had done these things. He said he believed the homosexual act was not as bad as raping or torturing somebody, but was far worse. Expert witness for the defense said that Hurt was in the middle of a psychotic depressive reaction. Though he had no history of mental problems, district attorney emphasized that sexual encounter did not come up until trial. So nobody knew about it. So trial happened, that's when they brought that up. After during the cross-examination, if Hurt would rather have his parents believe that he was a cold-blooded killer or homosexual, he answered that he would be difficult for a teenager in a religious family to admit homosexual feelings or activities, which is kind of true. They really frown upon that. But yeah, Hurt, by the way, while this was all going on, Hurt actually worked at a Dairy Queen, which nobody really believed that he would do something like that. They thought maybe it was like a hunting accident or a car accident or something wrong. They actually saved his job for him. You know, he was going to be over with pretty soon. He's going to be out. We'll be back to work. But yeah, even Hurt's parents believed that his son's story about a sexual encounter with Kopitske and that he would have been willing to risk life imprisonment to keep their secret to himself. Kopitske's parents later said that there's no way the sexual encounter Hurt talked about happened. So, the district attorney, Bill Lennon, doubted the sexual encounter happened, and which I kind of believe it did. I think maybe, and he just was trying to save face because, like I said, strong football player, college, and he had a homosexual. I don't know. And so I just did so I could get away with it. So maybe just his macho, image to keep up. But he said there's no forensic evidence suggesting a sexual encounter, but they could take a shower afterwards. That's all I'm saying. And it was all fellatio, I guess. So I don't know if they, but then again, like I said, he was naked, he could have showered up, so of course there's going to be no evidence. It's not like a rape. But yeah, on February 4th, 2005, the jury rejected Hurt's insanity plea, resulting in a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 34 years. So there he is, and like this happened in 2005. So yeah, even if he gets out 32 years, we're talking about 2037, if my math is right. And he's not going to get it. So there's the story of the murder of Glen Mark Kopitske. And if you want to, Hurt is in prison in Wisconsin right now. But if you want to pay respects to Glen Mark Kopitske, I say he was born July 24th, 1966 in Chicago, Illinois. And his death was August 3rd, 2003 at the age of 37 in Fremont, Wisconsin. He is a burial at Wolf River Cemetery in Orihula, Orihula, in Wisconsin. His memorial ID is 8685092. You can find that on Find a Grave. If you're up there, go pay your respect, put a flower by his grave. He didn't mean no harm or nothing like that. He just came across the wrong person, had relations with the wrong person. But there you go. If you like to tell that story, please rate and review anywhere you listen to it. Also, please tell a friend. And thank you again to the fine people of Honduras for keeping me on the iTunes charts. Hopefully, I start getting on the other charts. But until then, I'm appreciative and grateful for the people in Honduras at the time. Also, if you want to contact me, you can join my Facebook group at Truck.Murder and True Crime, Instagram at Truck.Murder and True Crime, Twitter at Truck Murder. Also, I do have a Patreon. I only have one person for a $1 fee. I'm going to start doing some $1 Patreon videos where I start videos of the truck stop that I'm at. And I'm going to start doing some Patreon here pretty soon. Hopefully, I barely have time to do my regular episodes, more or less a Patreon, but I'm working on it. Hopefully, one day I could quit driving a truck and do this full time. Or that's a Patreon at patreon.com/truck-stop-murder. But if you just want to donate a little bit, you can also do a PayPal me at truckstopmurder@gmail.com or gary.howard5@yahoo.com. I'm not really, can't remember which one I linked it to. I think I got, either one will be fine. But mainly just tell a friend, and always, hopefully, just have a good day. Have a happy new year. Stay safe. And like I always say, I always have trouble in these. I feel like I have to say more. Then I just need to shut the fuck up and say, you can't fix stupid, but you can sure numb it with a 2x4. I'm out of here.